Hello everybody, my name is Jad. Welcome to another MLB 994 video. In today's video, we've got the usual things, except for we're now in the post-Mentor universe landscape, if you will. I'm pretty sure we're done with Mentor today. Let me just double check this real quickly. That's kind of why PvP is locked from what I remember. Let's see what we've got going on here. Yes, Mentor is now locked. So now we're in the post-Mentor lock. I don't know if you guys have been playing Stage Challenge, but oh my lord. Stage Challenge is not fun without Mentor. Let's leave it at that. Stage 10 was a mess. But the good news is that it will only be a little bit of suffering, and then hopefully it'll be something better that comes along in the next week when we actually get the update. I believe it's going to be coming up, I want to say it's at the end of Ranked this week. Let me double check that real quickly. I want to make sure I have the right numbers for you guys. You know, I should have brought this up beforehand. Let me see. Oh, the East server till June 2nd. So June 2nd is Sunday at 11 a.m. So it will turn on right before Ranked, the last day begins. Hopefully that's 11 Eastern time. We all know that they're absolutely terrible. They don't know how time works. So when they say 11 a.m., they might mean 11 p.m. for all they know, because they never got the time right. They don't know how time works. I don't know why, but it's just really difficult for them to actually understand the difference between PM and AM. But, you know, when they're giving us deadlines like that, I really hope that they get the number correct. Anyway, so still as far as I'm aware of, still nothing really interesting going on in terms of receiving any kind of updates regarding the players. The new mentors, I'm sorry, not new players, the new mentor people. Did I get my mentor players back, or are they just like still like locked in mentor? Maybe they'll get returned after mentor, but I thought that they would be here like right now in my lineup, but apparently they're not. Maybe they're my backup? I don't know. They're not here. That's why I'm concerned. Still no information regarding the update on Mentor. Still waiting to see what their plan is to, like, you know, make that happen. Like, we have no idea. So still waiting, still unsure what they're going to be doing. We finally did actually get some information regarding the second wave of the abnormal play notice. Now, I remember you guys, we talked about the ranked cheater, the person that's been going around basically with a 70 overall team and has been terrorizing ranked, for lack of a better word, terrorizing ranked for the last couple of weeks in terms of his ability to rack up 80 runs on people who have really good decks. And, you know, ever since the abnormal gameplay notice dropped and everybody was kind of talking about how they thought that... I forgot to do this entirely. This is my fault. No, I'm not doing that one. We're doing Team Select Packs. Totally forgot that they did actually finally release the update. Totally forgot to do this part, by the way. They did finally release the second update notice. I remember that they said that they were going to be releasing a notice in regards to the ranked cheater, because we all thought that the abnormal, or I thought the abnormal gameplay one was in regard to that guy. It wasn't. The abnormal gameplay was in reference to Taiwan Astros, and we finally did hear some information regarding the new one. And their notice was about exactly what you would imagine their notice would be, which is the fact that they gave you absolutely no information whatsoever and told you that they will release an update later on. I'm shocked that they are not able to release an update on this, me personally. So I want to reference this by saying the fact that they had a very, very quick turnaround in terms of when they released the information about Taiwan Astros. They released the information very quickly about the suspected cheater nature or the abnormal gameplay suspicions about his account. They were able to go back into his account and look at all of the data and look at this and say, you know what? We've run the numbers, we've looked at the data, we've confirmed everything is on the up and up, and we've made sure that this person is playing legitimately and that there is absolutely nothing weird going on about their ranked results or anything going about the results from that they get from, like, the packs and the combos and the legends and the skills and the trainers. They've looked through all of that. It took them at the most maybe 1 to 2 days after the allegations came out in order for them to release a report that they found absolutely nothing interesting going on there. Absolutely everything normal. However, here we are. It's taken them 2, maybe 3 weeks to investigate somebody that is clearly breaking a rule and somebody that is absolutely abusing some system that we don't clearly understand yet. And it's taken them 3 weeks to come up with, we'll tell you later. We'll tell you when you're older. Like, I'm shocked that they're unable to figure out, A, what this guy is doing, B, how to stop it, and then C, tell us clear-cut what it is that this guy is doing, and that nobody else can do it from now on. Like, I'm honestly kind of amazed that they haven't closed the book on this yet. The fact that they can do a full investigation, which, by the way, also makes me convinced that they did not do any sort of investigation, by the way. You know, if that's not clear by my tone, I think that is just they put out this notice about abnormal gameplay just to cover themselves up, basically, at this point. I'm not saying that anything really actually happened. I'm just saying that, like, I'm shocked that they were able to complete this abnormal gameplay examination so quickly. Like, I just don't believe you. But the fact that they've had weeks to figure out, like, what's going on here, and, like, maybe they did ban this guy. I really don't know. But the fact that they've given us absolutely no information about this guy, kind of shocking, honestly. Maybe they're doing a full investigation of everybody else that's kind of, like, going around and seeing if there's anybody else that's abusing this mechanic, and they just need a lot of data to go through it. I can totally be fine if that's the case. However, like, the fact that they've not said anything is kind of frustrating, just for everybody that's been dealing with it, because I would argue that Taiwan Astros, in my opinion, if he is doing something illegitimate, how many people is he actually and realistically affecting? I would argue that if Taiwan Astros is basically going through and is actually manipulating something and is cheating, I would argue that he's only really affecting the top 100 players, which I guess you can argue have a bigger impact on the game. The fact that to come to US's bottom line, they have more of an impact to their bottom line than everybody else does. However, I would argue that this guy that's going around is basically creating these 70 overall accounts and is basically just torpedoing ranked against a lot of people. I would argue that he's doing more damage because he can potentially be knocking somebody out of a tournament spot, whereas Taiwan Astros, most of the time, the people he's playing against are already firmly in the tournament and are, I don't think he's really playing a lot of people outside of the top 100 throughout the entire week at this point. I would argue he's only really playing against the top people up in the master rank, in my opinion. So I think the list of people that Taiwan Astros is really affecting is much more minuscule, whereas the people that this ranked cheater is affecting are people who are trying to break into the top 100, people who are trying to get into the tournament, people who are trying to get into the top 300. I think that this guy is making a bigger impact and is affecting more people who are like, kind of like me, who are on the fence of spending my money, and at this point are kind of like, I don't really know if I want to spend $250 on PSETs because I've seen how minuscule the benefit is of buying all these PSETs. It's not really helping me. I'm not really making it into the top ranks. I'm not really gaining power rankings. It's just making me more frustrated that I've spent this money and the fact that my team hasn't gone anywhere because I'm either playing catch up or because everybody else is just, cataclysmically more lucky than I am. So, in my opinion, I think that the ranked cheater who's torpedoing people and keeping them out from of power ranking tournaments, I think that guy is doing much more damage to the game than Taiwan Astros is, even if Taiwan Astros is cheating, which I don't really think he is, I'm going to be honest with you. I have not seen anything to the contrary. Honestly, there's a too lucky mechanic, but I mean, at some point, when you're looking at like the overall data, how do you quantify too lucky, honestly? Maybe we're all just, you see luck in spurts, it's totally possible he's just all luck in spurts. It's totally possible, like, nothing that he's done is statistically insignificant. So that's kind of like my main thrust, is that I don't think anything he's done has been categorically improbable over a long period of time. But, just maybe he's got a lot of material stored up for a rainy day. Maybe that could be the case. I really don't know. But, until, like I said in the previous video, until somebody comes up to me and says, here is a list of the number of resources he used, and then here is the rate of these odds of this happening, and here is a bell curve showing how many standard deviations we are away from normal it is. And if it's a statistically significant data set, then I'll look at it and say, okay, that's really, really weird that this has gotten this lucky for this long. You would expect him to kind of regress to the mean at some point. However, until somebody can provide me with that detail, which I'm certain that somebody at the Com2 US headquarters would more than be able to figure out and would be able to parse that data, I'm pretty sure that they would look at that and go, oh, no, it's not actually outside the realm of possibilities here. This is honestly not something that we are concerned about. And so therefore, I think they did that, but I don't understand how it's taken them this long. Maybe they're just trying to honeypot this, where they're just trying to take their time and capture other people who are doing this ranked cheating thing. That could be the case, perhaps. Maybe that's really what they're doing here. Maybe that's why it's taken them so long. But honestly, just ban the people who you can ban, and anybody else who is continuing to do it, you monitor it, and then you ban them later on. Like I think that it's silly that you haven't told the player base what's going on yet, because I think they have a right to know that this tomfoolery is going on. But anyway, I think that's about everything that I need to talk about in terms of that for today's video. So honestly, their notice was frustrating, to say the least, and we're just gonna have to continue to play and wait. But yeah, they're probably a little too busy doing Mentor right now to actually actively commentate on it, but that is the case. I saw somebody on Reddit that actually submitted a question too many times in a row, and they threatened to ban him. Like, that's frustrating. They don't answer our questions. He sent like a couple of customer support tickets and asked a couple questions, and they responded to him by saying, hey, by the way, just in case you didn't know, you're harassing our employees and we're going to ban you if you keep doing this. I mean, that's like super frustrating, man. Like, are you kidding me? Like this is the worst. This is literally the worst customer service experience I've ever seen. Could you imagine if you went to a grocery store and you asked somebody like, hey man, I saw this on the shelf, I didn't know what the price of it. Can you tell me what the price of this bag of chips is? And he's just like, oh yeah, that's like $4. And then you pick up another bag of chips and you say, how much is this bag of chips? And he's like, I already told you it's $4. And it's like, but it's a different bag of chips. So like, how much is this bag of chips? Oh, it's $4. You pick up a third bag of chips. It's like, well, how much is this one? And they say, sir, if you keep asking us these questions, we're going to throw you out of the store and we're not going to allow you to be our customer. That's frustrating. Like, yes, are they allowed to do that? Yeah, they're absolutely allowed to do that. But it's like horrible customer service. Like, what are you doing? Like, that's just absolutely not a way to treat somebody that's your paying customer. Really frustrating. Don't like that at all. Would prefer if they actually answered your questions, because, not a lot of things are clear in this game. I'll take a Corbin Burns 21. Thank you for the Diamond Prime. I always love getting a Diamond Prime from these things. But, no, just really frustrating. Don't like that at all. That's a really garbage thing. Like, I can understand if you're harassing the person on the other end of the messaging by just, saying a bunch of nasty things to them and saying that they're the problem and that they've caused this, yada, yada. I can understand if that happens, that you can, give them that response back. But the fact that you are sending somebody who's genuinely just asking questions that response, I think that is exceptionally frustrating, and I think that is just downright deplorable in my opinion. People try to understand this game better, because in my opinion, I think that if you have a better understanding of the decisions and the choices that you are making in this game, you are more likely to spend money. I feel like that if you can quantify how much money and how much risk you're taking on, you're more likely to spend money. I think that if you understand drop rates, if you understand how likely you are to get some skills, if you understand like how likely it is for you to get Legend out of a pack, and you can say, okay, in order for me to guarantee myself at least one Legend from this pack, how much money am I going to have to spend? And then if you're like me, and you look at Ultimate Vintages as essentially like a slot machine with like a 5% rate, and you have to spend $1,000 in order to win the jackpot of like $200, then you have to look at that and you have to say, okay, this doesn't make any sense for me to buy this. I'm not going to buy this. Like, I think that you knowing it, I think, is a much better way of selling a product, as opposed to you keeping everybody in the dark and are basically pushing gambling at that point. You are literally pushing gambling with this game. But I think that if you are informed well enough, and I think that if you understand the odds and you understand that you are basically just throwing your money away, then, you're more than welcome to spend the money. I'm not going to tell you not to. But I think that if you are obfuscating to a point where people don't know what they're spending their money on, and it's kind of like an unfair thing, like sometimes some of the things in this game are, like, we're basically looking for skills that we don't even know what they do, essentially, at this point. Like, we don't know what they do, and we don't know if they work correctly half the time either. But I think that if you are obfuscating things to that point, then I think that that's a bad customer service experience. And I think that if you are yelling at people for asking questions to try to understand your black box system so that way they can spend their money more responsibly, I think that you're a bad company at that point. And you know what's going to change? Absolutely nothing. Nothing's going to change. People are still going to spend their money, but you're just going to be making people upset for supporting your product. Essentially, you're turning people against you, and I think that's you should be respecting your customers a lot more than I think that they are, in my opinion. I think that there should be a better customer service support system. I think you shouldn't be banging people over the head for asking you questions, and because, especially, of course, they're going to ask the same question all over again because you never give them a straight answer for the first time. Like, there was a guy in my club that asked, like, he was in the power ranking tournament, and he somehow played the game out and then, like, played it a second time, and it said it gave him a different result. And he sent them an inquiry about that, and then the response back was that random things happen in the game, and that sometimes things happen that you're not expecting. And I'm like, that's not even the question he asked. He wondered why the result changed in between him playing it and then him replaying it, and he wanted to ask that, why has this changed? This is really weird. And their response was cryptic at best and very bot-like, not very helpful at all. And this is a guy in the power ranking tournament. This is a top 100 player who has spent God knows how many thousands of dollars on this game, and he cannot get a simple answer from a person who either A, understands the game, or B, cares. Like, one of these two things. And I feel like we sit here and we bash on customer support a lot, but I mean, it is with reason. Like, the customer service is absolutely god-awful. So, I didn't mean to sit here and come bash customer support today, but I watched that Reddit thread, and it's really frustrating the fact that now that being said, I have no idea what the guy said. He could have said something in a rude way, and maybe that also was the reason that they responded with that. But from just the outlet of him asking, like, they even said, "You've asked this question many times to us previously." Like, that's clearly, if you ask the question like 4 or 5 times, clearly the person who is asking the question does not understand your answer. You should try a little harder to answer the question, or explain to them that we cannot give you the answer to this question you seek because it would compromise ourselves. I would be totally cool with that answer, but you haven't given him that answer. You've given him some other just fakakta answer that doesn't make any sense. Like, it's nonsense. Like, it's weird. Like, you ask questions and you get like an incongruent answer half the time. Like, I don't even bother asking them any questions anymore because it's just not worth my time. It's not worth my time, my energy, my sanity, or any of these things. I asked him a question on Rivals a couple weeks ago, and I still haven't gotten an answer. I asked a question about the green tickets, and I still didn't get an answer. It was a question about statistics and how they function, and of course I got no answer on that, because why would I? Typical. Anyway, didn't mean to turn this into a rant video today, but here we are. I've been watching the baseball landscape recently, and we just got absolutely horrible news yesterday about Ronald Acuna Jr. suffering another ACL injury, and I'm just like, oh my god, man, like this, I cannot believe this is happening again. Like, I feel like we just dealt with this a couple of years ago where he was sidelined with an ACL injury, and at some point you're gonna have to start getting concerned. I mean, like, we'll see how long this recovery takes, but like at some point, maybe soon, Ronald Acuna Jr. is not going to be the same player he is now, unfortunately, because I watched Victor Cruz go through it, where I think he tore his patellar tendon and he tore his, I don't know if it was his ACL, I think he tore his MCL, and maybe that was what it was. But like, he was a speed guy on the Giants, and all of a sudden, overnight, he just completely fell off. Like, he was a shell of himself. He had to retire because he just could not match his old speed again, and it was just so horrifying to watch. I mean, it was just absolutely gut-wrenching to watch somebody with so much potential go to the wayside. I mean, it was just so depressing. Oh my god, we got PSETs this week. My god, imagine that. Do I have to collect those? No, I don't. Okay, let's keep on going. So let's go do our PSETs this week. Still going to be throwing them on James Paxton to see if we can pick something up. Although at this point we should probably be just saving them because we do not know what Mentor is going to be. Looking like, do we get a mileage this week? Well, we're one short of a premium blue. Is that? That's okay. Like, I have a club member of mine who is just like, I'm finally getting rid of Boss because I'm tired of getting nerfed on Mentor. And I'm like, you should probably wait for a couple days to see what the new Mentor system is like first before you get rid of it. Because God knows you're going to get rid of it, and then there's going to be no Boss nerf in the future, and it's going to become a top-tier skill again for all you know. We really don't know. Oh, and actually, at that point, I want to talk about this because this was kind of a secret that has been going around real quickly. I want to talk about this because Mentor, as far as we know, is no longer the case. So I wanted to give you guys a little insight on what's been going on with my bench. I did this rather quietly because we weren't quite sure of the effects of the set deck. So if you guys notice from my bench, it's really weird. I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but my bench is all a bunch of random players that don't matter. But I still have Diamond S and I still have New York Yankees S because of the fact of that they never modified the Diamond and the New York Yankee set decks to have an increased player when they increase the number of players on your roster. So this is what I would like to. This is what we call a crisis bench. So does it really work? We like to believe so. So the crisis effect in Mentor is that, or it was that a player in your lineup, if the player's position, so in Judge's case it's right field, if the player's position matches a player's position on the bench, it means that until that player gets a hit, the chance of them getting a hit is increased. And this works with every single player in your lineup. It is not exclusive. Like if one player, if it's like once you get a hit for Crisis, it removes it for that specific player, but it still continues the crisis effect for the rest of the players on your team. So for instance, I have on my bench, if you look at my bench right now, I don't know if it's very clear right now. Let me pull it up on the other side right here. So let's pull it up in the lineup real quickly because the cards are a little bigger actually. So as you can see, I've got a right fielder, a third baseman, right field, like these are the primary positions now. Right fielder, third baseman, DH, right fielder, center fielder. Those are the first 5 players in your lineup, and they will never be pinch hit for from your bench players. So essentially what I did was I matched right fielder, third base, DH, right fielder, center fielder as the primary positions of the 5 players on my bench. Third baseman, right field, left fielder, center fielder, DH, essentially. Because it's right fielder, third base, DH, left field, center field. Sorry, I'm looking at the primary positions. The primary position is these ones, not the primary position on the card, because you can mix and match your outfielders. So right fielder, covered by Jake Bauers. Third baseman is covered by DJ LeMahieu. DH is covered by Mitch Garver. Left field is covered by my BC candidate, Billy Williams. And then center fielder is covered by Mauricio Dubon. So that's the primary position. So therefore, none of the 5 players on my bench will ever be pinch hit at this point. And then you go to the last 4 players are the ones that are the bigger problem, because if the primary position of the bench player matches the primary position of the position that they are playing, they will be pinch hit for. So what you're doing is essentially you're looking for these people that essentially have a primary position of the first 5 batters and also match a primary position of the last 4 batters. So essentially, I've got a catcher, Mitch Garver's secondary position as a catcher. Then you've got Tino Martinez, who's a first baseman. Jake Bauer's secondary position as a first baseman. Robinson Cano is a second baseman. DJ LeMahieu's secondary position is a second baseman. And Didi Gregorius, shortstop, is a shortstop for Mauricio Dubon. So basically, every single one of my 9 batters qualifies with the crisis effect that until one of them records a hit, the hit chance will be increased. Now, does this really matter? We don't know. We never really figured out if it worked or not. However, we always figured, in our opinion, in our club's opinion, that it didn't really matter to have any bench players, really, because they're not really doing anything. Like, your bench should, in my opinion, should never come in. So therefore, you can look at some of our players in our club, and some of them have crisis benches. No crisis bench. Who has a crisis bench in this? Does Chris have a crisis bench? No. He may have a crisis bench. Let me see. First baseman. No, he doesn't have a crisis bench. Some of our players do have crisis benches. A lot of the players in our higher up ones do have crisis benches. Like this looks like a crisis bench to me, like a half of a crisis bench. It's hit or miss. So this guy's got a crisis bench, as you can see. Does it really matter? We think it does matter. We think it really helps a little bit. And at this point, every single little bit helps. Obviously, it won't help anymore. And this is, like I said, this is a sneaky thing. You guys can go back in my videos a little bit. This was kind of like some covert information I couldn't give out. So if you ever saw my bench and wondered why my bench is like that, now you have the answer. The answer was the crisis effect from Mentor. And, yeah, so unfortunately now with the new rework of Mentor, we don't think it's going to become a thing anymore. So now I feel comfortable sharing this information with you guys. And, Yeah, it was a cool little thing. It was a little bit of a fun little game you could play within the game to try to find a bench that really flourished and worked this way. And it would also, oh my god, I have 19 gold trainers. What did I happen? What happened this week? I got 19 gold trainers this week. I didn't even notice what happened. But yeah, that's the game. Hasn't really helped me very much because my pitching is horrible, but my offense had absolutely ticked up when I did this. So I has my support. Again, it's one of those things that even if it didn't really matter that much, what is my bench really doing at this point? My bench is really only inflating my overall at this point. So honestly, it wasn't really doing anything. It was a fun little experiment to try to find, and that's where all my Diamond Player Select packs went. If you guys wondered, that's what I used my live player select wishes for, essentially, at this point. They had to be Diamond players, so I needed them to be a Diamond Player Select pack, and that's what I used my Diamond Player Select packs for a while back. So, yeah. Now you guys have all the information. That's the covert secret information from Moonshots for all you people out there curious about why my bench is so messed up looking, but there you go. Let's see. I need to clear some space on my trainers. I think I've got not a lot of space to work with here. Yeah, 199. So let's drop a lot of fielding trainers. A lot of speed field trainers I'm not going to need anymore. Need 19. Drop some stamina fastballs. Don't need those. I'm not really interested in having stamina and also the right side of a pitcher. I'm not too intrigued about that, me personally. I'm more intrigued about adding location and velocity myself, personally. But I could be wrong. That could be a complete fallacy for all I know. But that one's okay. That one's Velo 6. Let's release all those. Any just pure stam fastballs. Want to get rid of those. I'll release that silver one. Let's see. Let's go stamina breaking ball, maybe. Nothing really jumps out at me. So let's try just fastball and break, maybe. I would be okay releasing like a bad Velo one and just like going through there. Okay, we've got 10. Let's see if we can release a couple of them. Maybe we can release some special ones that I'm not really using, like some old special silver ones, maybe. Although I kind of want to hold on to them for Mentor, obviously. Let's go use 10. Leading hitter, guest hitter. I already have a guest hitter. Line drive machine, I hear, is pretty good. Leading hitter. Catcher. Interesting. Hard hit ground ball by 9%. That one's not bad. I don't really want my catcher doing ground balls. Also 0.7%. It's not great. What position option? Center field? I don't really have a center fielder that would really benefit from having that guest hitter trainer. Because I've already got home run hitter on a lot of these people already. Like my home run, I think like my Mantle and my Ruth. Like what do they have? You can't tell from here. Without having to open up the trainer one again. Let's see. We got home run hitter. Home run hitter. Home run hitter. Yeah, like they wouldn't really benefit, in my opinion, from having guest hitter. Okay, let's see. Let's go back to trainers real quick. I got 9 more. That's a good chunk of gold trainers today. Let's see if we can get something interesting. I'm going to release these corner workmaster ones because I don't really need them. I don't really need a nasty pitch either. Some old ones. I don't believe in batting eye, but I'm going to leave it for now. I'll release these 3. And then let's see if I got any bad ones in here. Location 6 stamina 2. I can live with that one. I can probably drop that one. I kind of want to keep that location 5 one. Okay, let's see if I get any bad speed fielding ones off of that draw. Doesn't look like it. How about some just Okay, that one's kind of gross. Huh. That one's kind of gross as well. How many do we need? We need to get rid of 2 more. So let's see if we get any just kind of gross speed ones here. Kind of like a speed 6 one, like, you know, just kind of get rid of it if I could. Like that one can go. Adios. Okay, I2 speed 1, field 4, that one can go. Okay, so that's enough. We've got now 9 more spots for the rest of our gold trainers, and then that should probably be it for the video today, unfortunately. Like, not a lot of stuff to really go through, but I'm sure next video will be interesting with Mentor. Woof, not any special ones. Do I have premium? I have a premium one too. Okay. Should have cleared 10 spots. Unfortunately, this is me having absolutely zero foresight. Power speed 3, yeah, that one can go. Not a fan. Not a fan. Only 3 power, and then just 6 stats in stats I just don't care about. And let's go with the premium trainer one. Please be a diamond for once. That'd be pretty cool. Nope. Normal silver one. But that being said, you guys, thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video, and hopefully you guys got some new insight on just basically the way we're trying to, you know, maximize every single little thing that we can even, you know, stick our claws into at this point. So hopefully you learned a little bit thing or two. Hopefully you guys have better luck than I did. Hopefully we'll have another couple gold trainers in the lineup for next video. With that being said, I'll see you guys later. Good luck with your packs, your pulls, your combos. Good luck with Mentor this week. Good luck with your stage challenge this week. That's the word I'm looking for. But I'll see you guys in the next video. Until then, peace.